Hey fashion lovers, cut this client's dress with me, okay? So this is the picture she sent to me that this is what I want. But this particular dress comes in different ways. Some of them off shoulder, But she said she wants us to have shoulder, the back properly covered. I said, okay, so this is the measurement we will be using for cutting. She is shoulder 17, bust 56, waist 40, and the hip is 58, half length is 18, and the gown length is 60. Okay, I divided the bust waist by 4. No additional sewing and no allowance, because I will be using pattern paper. When cutting it, I'll add allowance. Now this is my pattern paper. Okay, the upper part is what I will be cutting with pattern paper, but the down part I will be cutting it with the fabric. This I marked my shoulder. The next thing is the armhole. All right, the bust point, the under bust, and the waist. Okay, which is the half length. Here is the armhole, here is the bust point, here is the under bust, here is the waist. All right, so right at the bust I will equally mark the shoulder, connect it straight down, then curve. At the B, this is H, this is B, this is BP, this is UB, and this is W. At the B, I will mark the bust measurement without sewing allowance. Okay, then I'll connect it straight up and curve our normal curving. Okay, done. Now the next thing we need to do is our neck. What kind of neck do we want? I think maybe 4.5 is okay. Okay, then another thing is, from the bust point you determine your chest line. I usually measure from the bust point because that is like how many inches you want above the bust. That determines how covered your dress will be. Then you use your French curve and connect the shoulder. It can be done with French curve or rule, then you slant. Okay, the next thing we need to check is to cross check our measurements. I decide to go down for my chest line more by half inches, because she said she wanted it more exposing, the chest part to be properly showing. So we cut. Okay, the basic. Now this is the basic. All right, I've not cut the back of this dress. All this part will be slashed. From the chest line to the waist will be slashed, to the under bust, sorry. Now let me use this part for my back. This is how the back is, normal back with normal curving. So I'll just open this up. This is just sharp way of doing this. This is the back. Okay, I've divided into two. This is the back. You curve, slant your shoulder. Okay, keep this aside. This is the front. All right, now the chest first. You can see the cutting. This is the shoulder. You keep it aside. Okay, then this will go straight. All right, I've divided the front into 3 parts. One is the shoulder. Now this is the fabric we're using to cut this. This is the fabric I will be using. Now this is 5 yards of fabric, 5 yards of crepe. Okay, but the first thing, let's go with the front. So I will be cutting the front first, or the back. This is the back. Now the back of this dress has zip allowance, and when cutting it I did not make provision for it. So placing the fabric, I made provision for it. Okay, my zip allowance. Now your zip allowance can be 1.5 is okay, but I went for 1.5. All right, then in length I increased the length, all right, by 1 inches. So I'm cutting, the back is ready. Now it is for me to cut the front. Remember, this is how the pieces are. This is the part, that has drawstrings, you get, that has that gathers effect, the chest line to the underbust part. Okay, now she is busty, and she doesn't want hers to have that breast curve part. She wants hers to be, all the chest to have this effect. So I've slashed it, so I'm spreading it. Okay, I'm spreading it to cut. Now there will be allowance needed for this particular spreading, and I will be needing allowance the up and the down. Now I would like to say something. After cutting this, okay, she sized it and said, I placed my tape. Placing my tape, I got about 11. Okay, she said she doesn't want it too covered. Okay, this particular cutting I did, when she sized it, it was too covered. So when you're adding allowance to the up and down of yours, please let it not be more than 1.5 inches, at most 2 inches on the down or the up. So this particular step, this where I am right now, is very important. This, all right, yours should not be too much. Yours, what you add, you can see the margin between the original measurements, not in width, I'm talking about the height. All right, I had to lose and reduce it because she wants the chest a little bit exposing. So this is the waistline, the underbust to the waist part of it. Okay, you can see the measurement I added. I equally reduced this. Okay, so have it at the back when adding yours. The allowance you add both in the height, the upper and the down part, should be at most 1 inches. Let it not be too much. Okay, so this is the down part, the fitted part. Now the next part that needs cutting is our length, the skirt part or the down part of it. Now what I did is just place my tape starting from where the half length is to where the full length will be. Okay, and which is the size of the table. Now I went for a line. You can go for splash and spread, you can go for a line, or you can go for flay. But just that flag makes it more fuller. It will not look like what is on the picture. So do not use flay. You either go for pencil or straight skirt, you slash it and spray it, or you gently go for A-line skirt. Okay, but I'm using A-line for mine. All right, and this is how it looks. I've equally cut the zip. This is the back. The back, I added zip allowance to the back. Measure your waist. You use your long rule and slant it up. Okay, you slant it, that gives you a line. Or if you want more videos, there is a video on my channel on how to cut an A-line skirt. You can just watch that out equally. Now this is first step, sewing. This is the sewing part of it. This is the back. Facing is the first thing I sewed. Facing is the first thing I sewed. This video is so long, like if I'm to combine everything, it will be longer. So the next thing is for me to join the back here just by the waist. So the next thing is to join the down of the back skirt to the upper back, just like your son seen it. Okay, then that has been done, kept aside. It's as if that back part is done. Okay, now the back, this dress, she requested for belt and she wants it a little bit freer, so you can sew away that if you choose to. Now this is the part that has the drawstring. Okay, you can see I opened it up and I sewed it. Here will be open because she wants the drawstring to be at the center. That is why I opened it up at the center and sewed it back. Now you can see the tiny space that I left. This tiny space, I will be double folding it unequally for my drawstrings. Okay, you can see what I sewed. I double folded it. This is it. This is how it looks. All right, now this is what I've sewn. I'll use my safety pin and pass it through. Now you will be seeing the importance of that opening at the center. You will be seeing the importance after passing this. All right, you start from the side to pass it so it gets to the front. All right, it is tieable at the front and it has droppings, okay, at the center front, rather at the center front. This is the center front. This one is out. Okay, I will equally bring the other part out too, and you get to see how to tie it. This place will be sewn, to hold it down. All right, so the two of them has been passed. This is the center where it will be tied. I've achieved this part, the upper chest part. Okay, this is it. The next thing I'll do gathers. I just sewed gathers on the down and drawed it. I just sewed gathers. Okay, this is it. You see how it came out? Okay, so the next thing is for me to get that waist to underbust to waist and attach it, let it become one. The back is done. This is the front. The front has different. We have the fitted part. Now this fitted part must be doubled. So this is the center. I notched it, I opened it. I'll put this here this way, the gathers part. Okay, I'll put this here, the gathers part, pin the center where we sewed. That center we cut and sewed to will be pinned to the center of the fitted part. Then you scatter the gathers accordingly to fill in. You bring the other piece too and place it and sew it to give it a neat finishing. Now this is the finishing that came out of it. Okay, neatly finished. I just turned it properly the way it should be. This is it. You see it. The sewing is done in between at the center. All right, the sewing is done at the center. You can see how it looks. Now this particular one at the end, it was covering properly on the client's body. All right, it was well covered. Okay, because due to she is busty, I thought maybe she wanted her bust properly covered, because I asked her to make the one that is she can easily turn to off shoulder, but she said no, that she wants this one. So but at the end it covered her bust, but she said no, she wants it a little bit of exposed, the chest, upper chest part. So I had to redo this. All right, to redo it. In total I have about 8. All right, I had about 8. So I'll just sew this up. Okay, from here where my hand is to the end of the gathers, the final result we went for was 8. Okay, final result we went for was 8, and he equally gave us what we needed. All right, so this part, I think this rope that I sewed is too big. It is looking big to me. It's like I have to resew another one. I will be using this one for the belt. I think is what I would do. I want a more tinier rope for that. Okay, so I sewed another rope. Okay, I sewed another rope. Now the next part is the shoulder part. This is the paper of the shoulder. I still have it. Right, this is how it will come out here. You can see the difference between the other one and this one. So this is how it looks. So I'll just take that, fold and cut the shoulder. The shoulder equally will be doubled. I will be using the fabric to turn it equally, to give it firmness, not lining. I'll be doubling it with the fabric. So I folded the fabric into 4 and I'm cutting. Now I'm adding half inches to every part, half inches to every part, so it can be easy to sew. You can see what I did. Okay, I've cut it. All right, this is how it will come out. You see that? I think the hardest part is this front. Once you get your front, it becomes easy. So I will be sewing it, attaching the shoulder and turn it over. Okay, I've done that. Next thing is the skirt. Remember, there's a slit, front side slit. The slit is by the side in the front. So what I did is either I divide it into 2, the waistline, or I go for my nipple to nipple. So I decide to go for 6.5 because I will be sewing and joining it back. All right, you can see where I've cut it open already. This is how it looks. This is the front alone, and I did not cut the 2 fabric. It's folded into 2, but it's only 1 fabric that I cut. This is it. This is for the center side slit. Now I've joined every part. This is how it comes out. The slit is down here. This is it. Okay, now at the end you can see that. So all is ready. It's just for her to fit the dress and see if there's any amendment to be done. Okay, this is how it looks.